So we discussed how to value the unsold stock or the consignment stock yesterday in detail, right? We call the unsold stock also as consignment stock. And when we are preparing the books of accounts, we need the value of the unsold stock, not the quantity. Because in books of accounts, we need to show the value. Only quantity will not be sufficient for us. And in the problem, in the question, he gives us only the quantity. So we have to calculate the value of that unsold stock, and then that amount of unsold stock is to be credited to the consignment account, right? Now, valuing the unsold stock, we have three simple steps. We have discussed that yesterday. Once again, I'll let you know. We have three simple steps. Step number one, take the cost price of the unsold goods. And here there is a principle which says either the cost price or the market price, whichever is less. Right. So usually the cost price only is less. So that is the reason I'm calling it as first step is take the cost price of the unsold goods. So only the cost price for the goods which are unsold. To that, add proportionate non-recurring expenses of the consignor. So whatever expenses the consignor has incurred and which are non-recurring, we need to take the proportionate part of them. Why are we calling it as proportionate part? Because we have to take the expenses only to the extent of unsold. Step number 3, add proportionate non-recurring expenses of the consignee. So whatever non-recurring expenses the consignee has incurred, we need to take the proportionate part of them. Add these three values and you will get the value of consignment stock. So that is very, very simple, and this is the only addition in the problems now. So every time we'll have to prepare a pro forma, calculate the value of consignment stock, and then we will do the normal ledger accounts. And in all our ledger, the only changes in consignment account, you will get an entry on the credit side as by consignment stock account. That's it. Other than that, there is no change anywhere. Right? No, none of the other accounts are changing. In the journal entries also, you will have one additional entry for consignment stock. So that is the only change in the problems now. And before going to the valuation, we need to remember that we have to differentiate between the non-recurring and the recurring expenses. Right? And the simple differentiation between them is we have to remember all the expenses which have been incurred from the time goods have started from the consignor till they have reached the consignee's go down. They are all non-recurring. I'll repeat. All expenses incurred from the time the goods have started from the consignor's go down. All the expenses incurred from the time the goods have started from the consignor and they have reached the consignee's go down or the consignee's warehouse, all of them are non-recurring expenses. All expenses which have been incurred after the goods have reached the consignee's go down, they are all recurring. So we will ignore all recurring expenses at the time of calculation of consignment stock, and we will consider only the non-recurring part of the expenses of both consignor and consignee. And this is only for valuation of consignment stock. Our other problem will be as usual. Right? So we have a gist of consignment stock. We will now quickly look into the question. See the question on the screen. A consigned 1000 goods to B, costing rupees 150 each. So A is the consignor, B is the consignee. Goods sent on consignment here are 1000 goods at the rate of rupees 150 each. So we will multiply, we will get the value of goods sent on consignment. His expenses on consignment amounted to rupees 11,500. So these are the expenses of the consignor, 11,500. Now have a note here, he is not mentioning the category of expenses. What expense it is, he is not giving. He only said these are the expenses of consignor, 11,500. We'll keep it aside. B received the consignment and incurred rupees 14,400 towards duty charges. Now for B's expenses, he is giving us the category. He says B has incurred expenses towards duty charges. So now can anyone tell me duty charges are which type of expense, non-recurring or recurring? Okay, tell me, when will we incur duty charges after goods have reached the go down or before they have reached the go down? Yes, anyone? What type of expenses are these duty charges? Are they non-recurring or are they recurring? I'm waiting for the answer. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Why no one is answering? See, when will B incur duty charges? He will incur these charges when he had to take the clearance from the, maybe these are exported or export goods or whatever it is. He has to pay the dog charges, the clearance charges at the place of transportation. So that is duty charges. That means B is incurring these expenses before the goods have reached the go down. So these are non-recurring expenses of B. So now we know B's expenses are non-recurring. A's expenses, because he did not mention anything, we have to assume that they are non-recurring because we know the note. If he doesn't mention the category of expenses, we assume all consignor's expenses are non-recurring and all consignee's expenses are recurring. So here for consignor, he did not give us the category. So we are assuming consignor's expenses are non-recurring. For consignee, he gave us the category. So we have to decide accordingly. And he said consignee's expenses are duty charges. So duty charges will be paid while taking the consignment. He needs to pay some clearance charges there. So those are non-recurring. B sent a bank draft for rupees 50,000 as advance payment. So B has sent a bank draft for 50,000 as advance payment. Now when you say bank draft, it means he is paying the amount through bank. He is paying the advance through bank. So we will, for advance, we'll write the entry through bank. And later he sent an account sales showing 800 goods sold for rupees 220 each. So B has sold 800 goods for 220 each. So now can we know what is the quantity of unsold stock with us?
200 goods.
200, because goods consigned were 1000 and B has sold only 800. So remaining 200 are unsold goods. And then he also is giving one more line. And the other expenses of B amounted to rupees 2000. Just 1 second. Yes. So he also mentions B's other expenses amounted to rupees 2000. Now when he says other expenses, what does this other expenses mean? He didn't tell us what is the category. So if he is not mentioning the category of expense, we have to assume that these are recurring expenses and we will not take these other expenses of B for our valuation of consignment stock. Okay, because they are recurring expenses. B is entitled to a commission of 5% on gross sale proceeds. So that is the normal B's commission, 5%. Give journal entries and prepare necessary ledger accounts in the books of both the parties. So we'll do the ledger in the class. Journal, you can complete it later and then send it in the WhatsApp, right? So first I'll wait for 2 minutes. All of them quickly draw the proformas. This is the first proforma. Valuation of consignment stock. You need 2 columns, particulars and amount. Then I've kept ready all my ledger proformas. Ledger accounts in the books of A, consignment account, consignee's account, goods sent on consignment account. And then ledger accounts in the books of B, only the consignor's account. So quickly draw all these proformas. I'll wait for a minute. Once you are done with the proformas, if you let me know, then we will start with the entries quickly. Okay, so we will start entering now. So first, our first proforma is valuation of consignment stock. So as I told you, we have 3 steps for the valuation of consignment stock. The first step is take the cost of goods unsold. So cost of goods unsold goods are 200 and the cost price of those goods is given as 150 each. So the cost of goods unsold would be 30,000. Okay. Now the next step to this, add proportionate non-recurring. Please write the sentences properly. Add proportionate non-recurring expenses of A, who is the consignor, add proportionate non-recurring expenses of the consignor. And how will we calculate his proportionate expenses? See, take his total expenses 11,500 into the unsold quantity, that is 200, divided by the total quantity, which is 1,000. That's it. It's only simple cross multiplication. If you put it in that cross multiplication format, you'll understand. So total expenses are 11,500 into 200, which is the unsold stock, divided by 1,000, which is the total stock. So you are getting 2,300 as consignor's proportionate expenses. To this, add proportionate non-recurring expenses of B, who is the consignee, right? Proportionate non-recurring expenses of B, who is the consignee. Same way you have to calculate B's non-recurring expenses. So what did we decide? This 14,400 is non-recurring, so we will consider only this. This 2,000 is recurring, so we will just leave this expense. So take 14,400 into, again, unsold stock divided by the total stock. So calculate this, 14,400 into 200 divided by 1,000. So you're getting the amount as 2,880. So we come to the final now. So the final value of unsold or consignment stock. So we have to add the three values. So you will get the value of the unsold or the consignment stock. So it would be 2,880 plus 2,300 plus 30,000. So 35,180 is the value of our unsold stock, which we are going to take in the on the credit side of the consignment account. Right? So is the unsold stock part clear to everyone? Anyone has a doubt in this calculation? Let me know if you have a doubt. Otherwise, we'll proceed with the ledger accounts. So this was only additional thing in the problem. Otherwise, now all the other things are as usual what we do every day. Right? So now we'll start with the first consignment account. So we all now very well know the entries. Right? Consignment account, the first entry is 2 goods sent on consignment. And goods sent on consignment are 1,000 into 150. That gives us 1,50,000. The next entry is for the consignor's expenses. So he will write it as cash. In brackets, put it as expenses. And consignor's expenses are how much? 11,500. Okay. So after that, third entry is for the advance. But advance, we do not take it in consignment account. We will consider the advance when we are doing the consignee's account. Right? The step number 4 is considering the expenses of consignee. So again, come back to debit side. So here we'll write as 2B in brackets expenses because consignee is incurring them. And his, you have to take the total expenses. So first one is 14,400 plus other expenses are 2,000. Totally 16,400 is the expenses of consignee. Now the next step is sales. So come to the credit side. By B again in brackets sales. And sales, he said 800 goods into 220 each. So that comes to 1,76,000. After sales, we need to calculate B's commission. So come back to the debit side. Again, write as 2B in brackets commission. And we have to calculate his commission. It would be 1,76,000 into 5%. So that comes to 8,800 is the commission of B. After B's commission, our next step is the consignment stock. And we have already calculated the value. So we have to enter that entry. So come to the credit side, write the entry as by consignment stock account. And the amount we have already calculated, our amount is 35,180. Right? So now we have taken all the entries. Our next step is to calculate the profit or loss. So the credit side appears to be more. So that means we will have a profit. So come to the debit side, write the entry as to profit and loss account. In brackets, put it as profit and calculate the profit and tell me one of you. And then both the sides we need to put the totals. So let me calculate the total. 1,76,000 plus 35,180. So the total is 2,11,180. 2,11,180. Okay. So put the total, quickly calculate the profit and tell me.
34,480.
34,000.
24,480.
Is it
Ma'am,
24,480? Okay, so it is 24,480. So our problem with our consignment account is done. So as I told you, only additional entry is about this consignment stock. Otherwise, everything else is as usual, right? So consignment account is over. Now we'll prepare the consignees account. And how do we do the consignees account? We first start with the entry for advance, right? Yes or no? Entry for advance will come on the credit side, and he said that he's paying the advance through bank draft. So we will take the entry as by bank. Advance amount is given as 50,000. The next entry is for his expenses. So what will we write? We will write here as by consignment. In brackets, the expenses of B, and his expenses are 16,400. The next entry is for his sales. So come to the debit side, again write the entry as to consignment, in brackets sales. The sales amount is 1,76,000. And then the next entry is for his commission. So come back to the credit side again, by consignment, in brackets his commission. See, all these are same entries. There's no change in these entries. 8,800 is the commission amount. So we have transferred all the entries. What is left over now? What is left over in consignees account? Can anyone tell me? We only have to look at the balance. And in the question, he did not tell us how he is paying the balance. So we will assume that balance is paid through cash. So balance the account. I will write the entry as by cash, in brackets balance. And tell me how much is the balance. By then I'll put the totals on both the sides. The total is 1,76,000. And here also I'll put the total. It is 1,76,000. Tell me the balance quickly, one of you. Calculator, tell me 1,76,000 minus 50,000, 16,400 and 8,800. So you are getting a balance of 1,08,000. Right, so this account is also over, the consignees account. Now we move forward to all these accounts will remain the same. There won't be any change in these accounts. The only change was with this consignment stock in the consignment account and one entry to be added in journal of consigner. That's it. Now come to the goods sent on consignment account. So come to the credit side, write the entry as by consignment account. And then the amount is 1,50,000. Come to the debit side, write the entry as to trading. Whatever is there in goods sent on consignment, you will transfer it to trading account. And then same 1,50,000. Put the totals on both the sides. The amount on both the sides is 1,50,000. So we are done with goods sent on consignment account also. Now we are left with the ledger accounts in the books of consignee, wherein he prepares only one account, that is the consigner's account. And we know very well the entries in consignee and consigner's account will remain the same. Only thing is that they'll be opposite to each other. So we'll start with consigner's account. First entry will be for advance. Come to the debit side. So he will write the entry as bank because he's paying through bank draft. So to bank, the amount is 50,000. The next entry for expenses. So consignee will write it as cash because he is directly incurring the expenses here. So 16,400. Next entry is for the sales. Again, come to the credit side and he'll write it as cash because he is incurring the sales himself. He is receiving the cash. And sales amount is 1,76,000. Come back again to debit side because your next entry is commission. So only for commission you will write directly as commission. You will not write cash because consignee is neither receiving or paying commission directly in cash. He will deduct this commission later on from his sale value. So that is the reason it is still due. So we are writing it as to commission. That's it. We need to balance. And we are assuming that the balance is paid through cash. So to cash and balance. And we'll have the same amount of balance which you got in consignor's books. That is 1,08,000. And put the totals on both the sides. 1,76,000. Here also 1,76,000. That's it. So our problem is complete. We are only left over with journal entries which you can write yourself. Remember, one journal entry for consignment stock is extra in the books of consignor. That's it. Other than that, we do not have any other entries. So we are done with the problem.